And welcome back to Let's Play Silent Hill 2. Last time, James Sunderland entered the titular town in an effort to find his wife, Mary. The thing is that Mary is dead, and let me just, mess around with something real quick. I'm playing around with the brightness level, as for some reason my TV just kind of screws around with the brightness a lot, so I'm trying to find the ideal setting so that I can actually see what I'm doing, but the colors aren't too desaturated. Okay, 6 should be good. But we are inside the Woodside Apartments, as any route we could take to try and get to Rosewater Park, where James believes that is the special place Mary was referring to in the letter that she sent us, which we can reread that anytime here. And that may or may not affect something in the future, i.e. the ending. So, yeah, we can examine those to refresh ourselves on what our goal. We want to get to our special place, which Jane believes is the park on the lake. Now, before we go into the apartments proper, I'm actually going to turn the radio off. When the radio is off, it makes it so that enemies cannot detect you from nearly as far away as they normally can. Usually you have to brush right up against them until they can hear you, so that should help us a little bit in doing some stealth. For the most part, this is not necessary, but on hard mode specifically, and in this area, we want to avoid combat as much as possible, and to that end, I'm going to be going pretty quickly. I'm going to try and make this as clear as possible what I'm doing, but we really do want to be moving quickly, as the Woodside Apartments are absolutely crawling with enemies on hard mode, so we've got to be very careful. Yeah, just getting past a cockroach right there. We want to go into this apartment right here. And as you can see, it's a lot quieter without the radio blaring, and consequently for the monsters, they are not able to detect us as easily. With that all said and done, coming into this apartment right here, that dress looks kind of familiar. But also, there's a flashlight here that we can take. Once you grab the flashlight, that mannequin is going to pop up, but they are no threat to us, so we're just going to run on out. Now, the light also alerts monsters to our presence, so we want to turn it off when we're just trying to get past them. Whoops. I had to turn it back on because I couldn't see what I was doing. But yes, to try and get past them a bit more cleanly, you definitely want to turn it off as you're passing by them. It'll dull the reaction speed a little bit. We need that flashlight before we can go deeper into the apartment. You may also notice that once you actually have the flashlight, the darkness saturates a lot more heavily. You really do need the flashlight at this point to see what the heck you're doing. Also, if you're in the darkness, let's see, it does not matter in the central area, but let's just say we go into this hallway here. Because whether or not your flashlight is on affects a couple things. Okay, so we can see it here. But you do need your flashlight in order to read the map when you're in complete darkness. I'm actually going to want to pop into the menu and heal up a little bit. I've been taking a lot more damage than I normally do, just in an effort to try and show everything off. Not that I'm intending to take damage, but in trying to show things off, I've been eating some hits, so gonna need to do some healing here. Now, it looks like there's something on the other side of these bars. Let's make a reach for it.
Ow! Hey, wait! Damn it.
What a rude little girl. This is an awkward place to find a little girl, though. Isn't she in danger from all the monsters? Strange. Hopefully we can find her and get her out of danger. Maybe get her to apologize for stomping our hand there. Anyways, besides that, on the 3rd floor, we can come into this apartment here. You can safely imagine that any apartment I'm not going into, you cannot go into. But we've got a bit of an interesting room here. Looks like the wall is covered in bullet holes. And inside this shopping cart, we got a handgun. Now, it's not immediately obvious, but without the flashlight, James is not actually able to see that handgun in-universe. He needs the light source and able to realize it's there and actually pick it up. But we have our first gun of the game, the handgun. Very simple weapon, carries 10 bullets, and every pack we find comes in the amount of 10 bullets, so, you know, we've got 20 shots. Those lying figures that we keep coming across, they go down in 4 shots, more or less. Sometimes they might take 5, but usually they'll fall over in 4, and we can kick them dead. However, we want to save as much ammo as possible at this point in the game because it's really not forthcoming right now, and we do need a bit of it before we finish off this area. So let me see. An enemy spawns once we get that gun, but we can just juke right past him, get on out of here. We do need to get this handgun in order to activate the next sequence trigger so that we can continue on with the game. So once that is done and we've got the handgun, we are packing heat, much more decked out to actually fight anything. We can return to the second floor, and you'll notice when entering the second floor that all of the enemies have disappeared. It's especially noticeable if you have your radio on and the static is going to be blaring. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, I do just want to duck into here and point out this trash chute. Looks like there's something in there, but it's kind of blocked up. Guess it's just garbage. Maybe there's something we can do about that. I do just want to point out that there is one apartment on this floor that we can go to that I am actually going to pass over. It has a couple of packs of bullets in it, but there's also a bunch of enemies in it that I would pretty much have no choice but to shoot them in order to get the bullets in there. So it's really not worth it to go for it. Now, heading this way. Sounds like there was a scream. And I believe if you came here earlier, what you would be looking for wouldn't be in the room at the end of this hall. If you had your radio on, you'd be hearing some static right now. And go a little forward. It looks like something staring at us through that grate. Well, I'm not going to pay that any mind. Nice red glow, though. Now we go further than the Silent Hill 2 Chibi Edition ever got. Heading into this apartment. Sounds like some non-radio static is going. Uh-oh. Based on that blood splatter, it definitely does not look like a monster did that to this guy. It looks like he got shot. Questions upon questions, a room filled with bullet holes up top, and a man who is seemingly shot to death. However, inside this room is the key to room 202, which is where we need to go next. But there's a couple other things we can check out here. First off, this journal, which is very easy to miss. 3 needles stand of 3 different heights. The fat, the tall, and the thin. From slow to fast, they move to the right. Scott rests not on 3, but 15. Seems like a bit of a hint for us. And if we head into this room over here, we will find a clock. And on the side is a note that says, "The scars from the past shall remove the nail that stops time." We can opt to push the clock, but we won't be able to do anything with that. If we check this wall over here, not necessarily graffiti, but it looks like somebody carved something into the wall. Henry, Mildred, and Scott. And you're probably figuring out how this correlates. Of course, a clock has an hour, a minute, and a second hand, and those names start with the corresponding letters, so there we go. We are solving a puzzle here. However, we need a key to open up that clock face in order to solve the puzzle properly. Now, once you've come into this room and you've gotten the key, enemies will return. So, let's just juke on by some of these guys. The main thing we really want to watch out for is that cockroach, because he can just bite us to death. And if you don't have the light on, you cannot stomp him. It makes him really dangerous. Anyways, room 202 is right here, so we can head on in and see what there is for us to grab here. You want to dive into the kitchen first and grab a health drink. Definitely need plenty of those. I've been taking a lot more damage than I typically do. Doesn't look like there's anything for us to find over here, but inside this room, looks like the abode of an entomologist, or at the very least somebody who's enthusiastic about butterflies. Perhaps a little too much. However, there's a bit of a sound, and if we look over here, see a hole in the wall. Well, why not? Let's just stick our hand right in there. Alright, so we got the key for that clock that we saw earlier. As you will quickly find out, James is not particularly apprehensive about sticking his hands into places that other people might have some reservations about doing so. With that all said and done, we can get on out of here. Just going to strafe real quickly to juke past that lying figure in the center hall. And I unfortunately do need to bring... Oh no! Oh dear, oh dear. This is a party going on here. Luckily, these guys weren't too attentive, so we got through that with just one hit. If I were playing on a New Game Plus file, I'd have bullet adjust to work with, and I could just easily shoot these guys to get them out of my way, because I'd have a lot more ammo to work with, but that is not the case here. Now, on lower difficulties for the riddle difficulty, you do get more hints for what the solution to this puzzle that we're about to do is, but it's not a particularly difficult one to begin with. You can easily trial and error through this without checking any of the hints. So, what we've got here is that we can move the clock hands, and the hour and the minute hand will move, while the second hand will stay rested on 3 or 15. So, what you've got to do is you just got to find the correct place to rest the other clock hands, which in this case is 9:10. Once you stop it on 9:10, you can close the clock, and you probably heard that thudding sound. That means that it's locked into place, and it being locked into place means that the clock itself unlocks from place, and we can push it out of the way. You can completely just trial and error that puzzle, because it makes the really obvious sound that you've hit the correct spot once you actually reach that. Heading into this apartment here, and I'm definitely going to have to adjust my brightness settings on my TV before I do this again. I don't know why, but sometimes the brightness just randomly changes on me when I'm playing my PS2, and it's really obnoxious because it makes it hard to see in these Silent Hill games. But now that we've gotten through that, heading through that hole, we'll find ourselves on the other side of the gate. Thankfully, that weird red demon that we saw is gone, so don't have to worry about him. Heading up the hall here, we can get on up into one of the staircases leading upwards. I guess this is an emergency exit, though if we try to go anywhere but up, we will find it is blocked off. Heading up here, and on the banister, we will find some handgun bullets, so let's just grab those real quick. Could always use more of these. Alright, so once again, heading into the hallway, we're going to have a bunch more enemies to get past, so we want to turn the light off to dull their reflexes. Okay. And we want to take the third door down, which should be this one. And there was the real reason we needed the gun to proceed, because James uses that in that cutscene. Since it would be really annoying to talk about that guy without saying his name, that was Pyramid Head, the first real encounter with him, and as you saw, that introduction he had kind of looks like a certain something. Now, it's actually been debated recently if that scene was meant to depict sexual assault or not, but people have kind of run with the idea that Pyramid Head is quite the fan of conjugals of dubious consent and have run with that for a while, so you'll probably see that come up a lot in discussion about the character. That is far from the last time we'll see him, and it's not the only time we'll see him doing something that resembles, well, you know. But the main reason we had to come in here is because we grabbed a key to the apartment courtyard, so we can access that now, and whatever goodies await us there. Heading out into the hallway, we want to just immediately start strafing to the left. And hopefully we don't run into any enemies. We want to go to the end here because we can get that key that we had kicked away from us earlier, a fire escape key. We're on the other side of the gate on the 3rd floor now, and some more bullets in here, getting a nice stockpile. We actually do have a boss fight coming up in the very near future, and we want to have about 50 bullets at our disposal. Oh, whoops, turned the light on too early. Oh well. We're still doing okay on health. One thing that is handy to know if you're playing on the PC version, it's a little easier to keep track of your health. On the PS2 version, the only way you can really tell if your health is getting low is that the controller will start vibrating like a heartbeat if you are at a red health status, and it rumbles very quickly if you are at the lowest health possible. On the PC version, when you get into a red health status, a red cross appears in the bottom right corner, no doubt violating the Geneva Convention, but also letting you know that your health is low. Now, we are actually in the apartment building that was on the opposite side of the entryway that we came in. If we tried to come to this building before, it would be locked. There is not much on this first floor, but we do need to go down to this hallway. And at the end of it, we find a cans of juice. Well, it's not exactly obvious what you do with that, but we do need that in order to finish out this area properly. One thing that I haven't been drawing much attention to, you've probably noticed when I'm getting close to a doorway, I start walking to slow my movement down. Much like Silent Hill 1, if you run into a wall at full tilt, James will throw up his arms and stumble into the wall, slowing you down a lot. And in this game, it actually delays your inputs by quite a bit. You won't be able to go through a door if you stumble like that. One thing that's different about this mechanic compared to Silent Hill 1, in Silent Hill 1, that was just a factor in every difficulty. In Silent Hill 2, this is the game where the series started experimenting more with changing up the mechanics on the player between difficulties. You only have to deal with those stumbles on hard mode. With that all addressed, we can now head out into the courtyard with that courtyard key we got, and there is one major thing we have to check out here. We can also access another building in the Woodside Apartments, so that's handy to know. But the first thing we want to do is find out that, despite its rather slummy appearance, the Woodside apartment was apparently nice enough at some point to have a pool. And this pool is quite the hangout spot for lying figures. Uh-oh. Okay, we just want to quickly go up to that carriage and grab the coin that is sitting in the center of it. Yeah, that's a bit of a nasty area. It's pretty difficult to get through that without taking a hit, unless you just stand at the edge of the pool and shoot some of these guys down. But I thought I could get through that without taking a hit. I just kind of had bad luck with the placements there, and I was moving a little slow. Before we head back into the apartment proper, we can actually head into this building. And once we go in here, we want to immediately start strafing to the right. I'll probably turn my light off just to delay the reactions. Whoop! Go into this room right here. Oof, that was close. I'll definitely want to strafe right again. Now, heading into this apartment, you have to come here before you leave the Woodside apartment. With that fire escape key, we can actually get to the next area, but there's a cutscene in this apartment that we need to see before we go there. First, there's another pack of handgun bullets for us to grab. Here's something? Oh, geez, what the heck happened here? Yeesh, I heard of getting stuffed in the refrigerator, but, yeah. But what the heck is that sound?
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Do what?
I didn't do anything. I swear. He was like this when I got here.
My name's James. James Sunderland.
Eddie.
Eddie. Who's that dead guy in the kitchen?
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't kill anybody.
You're not friends with that red pyramid thing, are you?
Red pyramid thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Honest. But I did see some weird-looking monsters. They scared the hell out of me, so I ran in here.
Well, I guess this place isn't too safe either. What happened here anyway?
I told you, I don't know. I'm not even from this town. I just...
You too, huh? Something just brought you here, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Well, whatever it is, I think you better get out of here soon.
Yeah, you're right. What about you?
I'll leave as soon as I'm done here. Eddie, be careful.
James, you be careful too.
Boy, well, that fellow had a copious amount of vomit to expel, but that is Eddie, the, also somewhat flighty individual, though not quite as much as that woman we saw earlier, but, he seems to be pretty, out of sorts over what he saw in here. But, you need to see that cutscene in order to progress the game. If you do not see it, you will get to a point where you cannot go any further for no obvious reason. It's just that you haven't seen this cutscene and the path is blocked off. It's kind of silly, and it's one of the only times in the game it does something like that. I don't know why they made it so that you could skip this cutscene, but you do need to see it after a point. After the cutscene, though, we can actually head back in, and this is very easy to miss, but there's something extra you can see in here. First off...
Eddie, are you okay?
Yeah, I guess.
Alright, so yeah, it's just a short bit of scene, but, yeah, it's weird. But yeah, it looks like a room of a football fan here. A bit of graffiti, too. Wonder if this means anything. But yeah, it's pretty easy to miss that these rooms and that little bit of extra dialogue with Eddie is here. You'd have no reason to go back in or even think you could. But yeah, just a nice little detail that a lot of people probably do not see. Now, we got a monster right in front of the door there, so we just want to immediately strafe right, get back to this door, and boom. Managed to get through that without taking any damage. Now, there is one last thing we need to do in the Woodside Apartments. And then we can use the fire escape exit key and get on to the next area, presumably an alleyway, right? I mean, we're going down a fire escape. And hopefully that will allow us to get to Rosewater Park. However, there is one last thing we need to do, as I've been saying. We just need to immediately hang a right and go into the laundry room that we were in earlier. Remember how I mentioned the garbage chute? We now have the means to clear the blockage in that chute. Just walk up to it and get myself lined up properly, and that six-pack of canned juice seems pretty heavy. Might just be able to dislodge the thing that's in there. And sure enough, just clunks on down and takes it out. Okay, let's get into here. Yeah, the monsters are closing in. I needed to be a little bit quicker than that if I wanted to do that completely safely, but we managed to get through it. With that taken care of, we can head out to the garbage chute back in the entryway. I'm like trying to find, like at the front gate, I guess, trying to find the right way to identify this opening area to the Woodside Apartments. And off to our left we go, and we find the exit for the garbage chute, where no doubt many a garbage has been picked up by the fine upstanding garbage collectors of Silent Hill. Inside here, we find an old man coin to go with our super cool snake coin, but also there's a gossip magazine that catches James's eyes. The police announced today that Walter Sullivan, who was arrested on the 18th of this month for the brutal murder of Billy Locane and his sister Miriam, committed suicide in his jail cell early on the morning of the 22nd. According to the police statement, Sullivan used a soup spoon to stab himself in the neck, severing his carotid artery. That was a brutal way to go. By the time the guard discovered him, Sullivan was dead from blood loss, the spoon buried 2 inches in his neck. Yeesh. An old schoolmate of Walter Sullivan's from the hometown of Pleasant River said he didn't look like the type of guy who would kill kids. But I do remember that just before they arrested him, he was blurting out all sorts of strange stuff, like, he's trying to kill me, he's trying to punish me, the monster, the Red Devil, forgive me, I did it, but it wasn't me. The schoolmate then added, I guess now that I think of it, he was kind of crazy. That story of Walter Sullivan, it's kind of just a throwaway creepy thing in this game, but it is pretty famous for becoming the basis of the plot in Silent Hill 4, where Walter Sullivan, let's just say he comes back in a big way in that game, even though he was basically just a non-entity in this game, just mentioned in passing in a single article. With that all taken care of, now we can finally use that fire escape key and get on to the next area. So we want to finally just head left, turn off the light to juke by that lying figure, and the fire escape that we can use this key on is right at the end of this hallway. Well now, this does not seem like it's up to code, if I'm going to be completely honest here. In fact, it is super illegal to knock down a fire escape to install more buildings, but then again, based on what we see around Silent Hill, I'm guessing OSHA doesn't have much of a hand in this town. But at least they're close enough that James can just comfortably walk through the window. Yeesh. And with that, we find ourselves in the similar apartment building, but of course different, the Blue Creek Apartments. Heading into here, we're about to see one of the most famous scenes in the game, if not the most famous. Looks like there's a toilet there's something stuck inside the toilet, I'm sorry. Will you take it out? Well, why wouldn't I? And yes, here we go. James, not even rolling up his sleeve, just reaches right into that crappy toilet, fishes around, he really feels around. And we get a wallet. Now, how the hell the memo inside this thing is still readable is beyond me, but whatever. So this is a bit of an interesting memo. On normal and easy riddle difficulties, it's just numbers. On the harder riddle difficulties, though, it starts mixing it up a bit. Now, if you've had, elementary school math classes, you would recognize those are Roman numerals, so we just got to apply the Roman numerals to figure out what the actual numbers are. So VV7, V is of course 5, so that means 2 5s, that's 10, that's 17. X is of course 10, so that's 14, then 7, then 4. So 17, 14, 7, 4. 17, 14, 7, 4. 17, 14, 7, 4. Now where the heck do we use that combination? Well, conveniently the safe is actually right in the same apartment, so we just want to go to 17... Then we want to go 14, then we want to go 7, then we want to go 4, and there we go. For deciphering that little code there, which was not too difficult to decipher, we get a huge cache of handgun bullets, 4 packs for us to take. And that is not all that awaits us in this apartment. Got another health drink. Just a whole bunch of goodies for us in here. Great stuff. Now, heading out into the Blue Creek Apartments proper, we just immediately want to go right past this mannequin, and we want to go down the stairwell here. There's nothing in that laundry room, we can just ignore that. And this is very easy to miss, but the map for this area is right next to the stairwell door. As you can see, the Blue Creek Apartments are a lot smaller than the Woodside Apartments. Just a bunch of hallways, and in fact, we can't even access the 3rd floor, so this is a really, really quick and easy area to get through. But it's building up to something important. Just be patient, just be patient. Now, there is a door on the 2nd floor that has a note telling you what you're looking for down here, but it's not super interesting. It's just the Linehouse has a note letting you know that somebody on the 1st floor has the key to it. We want to head into this room here. And there are a handful of enemies on here, but since we're not doing a ranking run, we can comfortably ignore them. Heading into here, we get some more handgun bullets for our troubles. And, this room, looking a little in disarray. Is that a teddy bear there? And heading into the kitchen, nothing here, but there is a room over here. Now, if you have not seen the Eddie cutscene, this door will be held closed by a mysterious force, and you will not be able to go into it. Because we have seen the Eddie cutscene, though,
Yeah, I'm James.
Angela.
Angela. Okay. I don't know what you're planning, but there's always another way.
Really? But you're the same as me. It's easier just to run. Besides, is what we deserve.
No, I'm not like you.
Are you afraid? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Did you find your mother?
Not yet. She's not anywhere.
Did she live in this apartment building?
I don't know.
So, all you know is she lived in this town.
What did you say? How do you know that?
Well, I just figured, 'cause this is where you're looking for her. How else would I know?
Yeah,
Am I right?
I'm so tired.
So, why did you come to this town anyway?
I'm sorry. Did you find the person you're looking for?
Not yet. Her name's Mary. She's my wife.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, she's dead. I don't know why I think she's here.
She's dead?
Don't worry. I'm not crazy. At least, I don't think so.
I've got to find my mama.
Should I go with you? This town's dangerous. Now I know what you meant back there in the cemetery.
I'll be okay by myself. Besides, I'd just slow you down.
What about that?
Will you hold it for me?
Sure. No problem.
If I kept it, I'm not sure what I might do. I'm sorry. I feel bad. Please don't.
Well, now, Angela seems to have some serious issues. After that cutscene, as you saw, James took the kitchen knife and it seems to be stained with something. Now, much like the letter and the photo, this influences the ending you get. Now, I would recommend against examining this item, period. Do not use the examine command on it. It's okay to just scroll over it in your inventory, but do not look at it unless you want James to become an hero later on. With that taken care of, the main reason we need to come in here is to get the last coin that is available for us, the coin of the prisoner. There is one more thing that you can check out here that's pretty easy to miss. Looks like some kind of family photo. Is that Angela's? I do have to wonder why she tore it up, though. Nothing else that you can really examine in here, though. You can creep yourself out with your reflection, I guess. Let's get out of here. Now that we have those coins, there is one last room that we can access on this floor. So we want to head back out. We want to immediately strafe right. The room that we want to go into is directly across from the stairwell, so we just want to head back down there. Be careful. Oh, there it is, the cockroach. That thing will absolutely eat you to death if you're not careful. I was hoping we could avoid it altogether, but sadly I was not that lucky. Inside this room, this is the room that the note on the second floor would indicate has a key for us in here, but we do not see any key. Instead, we see this strange little boudoir. Is that a boudoir? This strange little desk. I don't know, it's shelf. Cabinet, probably a cabinet. We'll call it a cabinet. I'm sure there's a more specific name for it, but cabinet is good enough. However, that is our first real puzzle of the game, if you do not count the clock puzzle, which honestly does not require any real thinking. But this video has been running long enough, so conveniently, there's a save point for us in this room, so we'll make a new save here. And that is where we'll call it a video. When we come back, we will finish up our business in the Blue Creek apartment, and hopefully make it to that park. Will we find Mary there? Well, the game would be awfully short if we did, but we can only hope for the best. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope to see you next time. Until then, though, goodbye.